Hey guys, it's the Pinking here. Now, in my last video, you might recall I mentioned that I would talk about the amazing digital circus a bit more, because there's been a question that I've wanted to answer for a while now, and after having watched the newest episode a few times, I believe I finally have the answer to that question. The question being, how did this show leave such an impact? Now, you might be wondering, what do I mean when I say impact? Well, what I mean is, how did a random indie animated project manage to take the world by storm? So much that its second episode is at 50 million views and is still on the trending page only 2 days after airing. Because that is not an accident. This show was not a fluke, as now it has proven to be able to consistently garner plenty of attention and recognition from a lot of new fans. So how exactly has it managed to pull that off? What got people to watch and talk about this show? And what got people to stay? Now, in order to answer this question, we first need to see the competition. How did other sudden phenomenons garner their attention? How did Digital Circus learn from those others? First, let's talk about FNAF. Possibly one of the first major phenomenons stemming from the internet, FNAF was released at the right time, with it being the first to take advantage of people's nostalgia for old pizzerias and their animatronics, add the simple to understand gameplay, and to this point the famously convoluted story, mixed in with the horror twist, boom, you have a hit. Add on top of that the mystery, and you have people wanting to know more. Then let's look at Has Been Hotel, another animated series that suddenly skyrocketed into stardom, with Has Been Hotel releasing at the right time, with the incredible animation catching people's attention right from the start, and it being a true trendsetter. Now, I'm not going to act like it was the first original YouTube animation, far from it, but it was the first one that had just as much, if not more quality than most TV shows at the time. Alongside how it sort of replicated Family Guy's initial success, with everyone talking about how rude and unapologetic the show was, that people just had to watch it. It didn't matter if you liked it or not, you just had to see it for yourself to see what all the noise was about. And with the promise of more episodes and a spin-off, you just had to know how far this sort of premise would go. Now, you might already be noticing a pattern here. Both of these franchises have a lot more in common than you may realize. They were both released at the right time, both were the first of something, and both had something that made their audience come back. Now, let's look at Digital Circus. Does it also have these qualities? Well, it was released during a very interesting time during October of 2023, where a lot of things were going on, and a lot of animation was being made, so I'm just gonna say no to it being released at the right time. Was it the first or something? Again, no. There have been other animated shows and other 3D animated shows on YouTube, even some under the same studio, so I'm gonna have to say no to that as well. Finally, did it have something to keep people coming back? Yes. Yes, it did. The show has a very mysterious aspect to it that kept people coming back. However, unlike things like FNAF, the mystery here feels a lot more personal, as we are fully aware of who exactly is trying to escape, her thoughts, emotions, and the mystery as to how and why she's here. That is the meat and potatoes to what kept people coming back here. But there is still one part of this puzzle still unsolved. Sure, we know how it kept people coming back to its next episode, but how did it get these people in the first place? As I said with my prior two examples, they all had something that got people's attention right away. With FNAF, it was the horror animatronic pizzeria, and with Has Been, it was the shock and animation. But what is it about Digital Circus that got people to click on it initially? I feel it was two things. One, it was the way the show handled horror. With it not taking a more physical route, like with violence, blood, and all that nasty stuff, but instead taking a route similar to the Backrooms, you could say. That being the more mental horror, the anxiety, the hopelessness of escape. That is what got people to watch initially. How something disguised as a friendly kids show managed to end up being something traumatic and leaving you with burning desire to know what the hell is going on. And two, it was word of mouth. I think people underestimate just how powerful word of mouth can be. It was the very thing that made stuff like Joker succeed and Morbius flop. The effect it had on people is what made it so successful. The way it was able to get people to talk about it, catching you off guard with cute animation only to hurl questions at you. Like, what's the deal with the characters? Why can't they swear? Where did they come from? What exactly is Kane hiding? But also some of the more philosophical questions it asks you. Like, what happens when you break your limit? Is this digital circus supposed to be a metaphor for something? And why is every character something completely different from one another? Does that play into who they were initially? Does it play into their mental, or does it have no effect at all? Not to mention other questions like, what would I do if I was in this situation? How would I feel if this were to happen to me? How would I escape? If I could even escape. It's all designed to get you talking about it, to keep it in your mind, because when your audience are genuinely intrigued at what you set up, then they're going to remember it a lot longer. Digital Circus's impact needs to be recognized, as I feel that's a part of the show that not a lot of people are talking about. Because in terms of from what I've seen, this show pretty much kind of came out of nowhere. Just one day it suddenly appeared, and now all of a sudden everyone is talking about it. And that's kind of a great thing to see. This is such a unique and cool idea, and it's handled so incredibly well that there is so much I could talk about here. It feels so incredibly rich, and it's only had 2 episodes so far. So in conclusion, the reason why Digital Circus worked and had the impact it did was due to its ability to make you ask questions. Questions not only about the show, but also ourselves, alongside its misleading appearance to hide the dark themes and horror that underneath. There's a reason why this show has had such an impact on people. It's a story that's just beginning, and the way it's setting up the pieces, it's something that we want to see all the way to the end, because it's genuinely engaging, and its uniqueness in how it's able to combine all these techniques is what gets people interested. That is how you do it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make an impact. It's been the Pink King here, and before I go, I just want to show off this amazing art that Dillaraptor made in my Discord server, which you can join, by the way, link is in the description. He turned me into Kane! What did you think of this show? Do you think there's another reason why this show had such an impact on people? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, with that, I will see you all next time.